friends, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, Merry Vlogmas Day 16. Today I'm going to obviously be talking about like wedding advice. I assume if you clicked on this, you are preparing for a wedding, or you're, you know, getting engaged, want to get married. Really, there's a whole realm of reasons why I clicked on this video, but I am going to give my 6 wedding tips or advice for having your wedding. Number one, the first thing I want to talk about is wires. What I label wires because it's the way that my parents presented it to me. And it's something you have to expect, that something about your wedding is not going to be how you planned it. Something is going to go wrong. And what you have to do is you have to look at that and be thankful for that. So basically, like, expect things to go wrong and count those as blessings. The things that go wrong will be what breaks up your day, and it will be what helps you compartmentalize your memories to be like, oh, that happened, remember that? And down the road, eventually you will laugh about it. So I'm just going to be transparent about my wires for my wedding. One of the things that went wrong is on the way down the aisle, my veil got caught. And if you watched our wedding react video, I did talk about that. But my veil got caught walking down the aisle, and it like pulled me back and by the hair, and I had to like stop. And my dad was like, where are you going? Like, he thought that I was like changing my mind because I got stuck. And it was such like a weird moment where I was like, I didn't fall walking down the aisle, but I didn't walk down the aisle gracefully. So there was like kind of like a weird thing, and in the moment I was like, oh, that just happened. But I actually was like pulled back down to earth in that moment. And I think that that's something that I'm like really grateful for, because even though it's not ideal, nobody wants to have anything happen negatively while they're walking down the aisle, I looked at that as a blessing because I was so hazy. I was just like, everything's going perfect, like I'm walking down the aisle and my husband's right there and he was emotional and I was emotional, and then all of a sudden my veil got caught and I was like, oh, this is really happening, this is real life. So like that's one of them. And another one was like during our first dance, I stepped on my bustle and it snapped, and so my dress was like falling down during our first dance and like the entire rest of the night, which I'll get to dresses in a second. But it was doing that, and like I can remember moments where I was like holding it up, or like how my wedding planner rushed in with like her little bridal kit and was trying to like sew my bustle back together while I was like taking pictures with people and talking to people. And I think that's just like funny moments now, looking back on it a year later. I'm like, oh, that was funny. I'm glad that happened, because otherwise I don't think I'd have memories from that specific moment. You know, like you just have to think of them as all blessings. The second thing I'll say is best, like for my best wedding tips, is about the guest list. So do not stress over your guest list, and I know that that's easier said than done, but if somebody is like begging to be invited, or they're like expecting to be invited, or they keep coming to you with like, where's my invitation, they're not trying to be there for the right reasons. And I think it's important to evaluate your guest list and look at it and be like, who do I want there that supports my relationship, that loves my husband and I, or my wife and I, or my future spouse and I? Because when you're getting married and you're like reading your own vows, or even if you're not reading your own vows, you're still professing your love to somebody to like be with them for the rest of your life. The people around you, you should feel comfortable witnessing that. If people are being bratty about coming, it's not a popularity contest to be invited to somebody's wedding. It is an honor. It is this person wants me to be one of the witnesses to them declaring their love for this person for the rest of their lives. Like, that's an honorable thing to be invited to. It's not a popularity contest, so don't let your guests act like it is. If you invite one person but not their cousin, like, they shouldn't be upset. If they're really willing to support and love you in your marriage, then they will support and love you from afar. Like, people should be grateful, not expectant to be invited to your wedding. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars and have everyone and their brother come to your wedding. You can have a small wedding. We had a big wedding, and I don't regret anything about our wedding. I loved every single moment of it, but it does get extremely overwhelming to have that many people there. I'm a really introverted person. I call myself a social introvert because like I know how to be social, but I do not like to be the center of attention or have a lot of attention. And so having like a big wedding and having so many people want to like congratulate us and wish us well and say goodbye or hello, it was just like slightly overwhelming because I was like, we were 2 people with like 300 people wanting to see us, and I was like, this is a lot. So evaluate that about yourself. If you are an extremely extroverted person and your partner is as well, you might love having a huge wedding that's all about you if you love being the center of attention. If you don't, then like you don't need to have 3,000 people. All you need is you, your partner, 2 guests. So don't stress about the guest list or the wedding in general, because all you need is an officiant, your partner, you, and 2 witnesses. And that's only like in most states. In Colorado, it can just be you and your partner. So keep that in mind as you're going through it, that yes, okay, it's just a day, it's just the wedding day, and I understand that it's really emotional and there's a lot of effort and a lot of energy put into it. But when you're doing that, just like keep reminding yourself, this is just gravy. The main course, the best part, is at the end of the day I'll be married. Everything else is just sprinkles. It's just icing on the cake. So just like keep reminding yourself that. Number 3, my little wedding advice, is about your wedding dress, your dream dress. Make sure that your dress is tailored to your body and fits you. As I mentioned earlier, my dress was falling off my body. Maybe try it on a couple days before your wedding, make sure it still fits. I feel like that's a good piece of advice. I didn't think about it, so you might not think about it, but like make sure that your dress fits, even like leading up to your wedding. Also, pick a dress that fits your personality and your body, fits the theme of your wedding, like fits the style you're going for. It's not about being perfect or being the perfect wedding dress. It's just like, yes, it lives on forever in your wedding photos, and obviously you want to have a beautiful dress and it will be beautiful, but you really only wear it for like maybe 9 hours max, maybe the day after if you do that sort of photo shoot. But like other than that, it's living in a box. And unless you're going to like turn it into something and you want a dress that like you can turn into a pantsuit and wear other places, you don't need to wear a $9,000 wedding dress. Like that's excessive. You can find your dream dress in your price range. So the 4th thing I'll mention is music. And my advice on music is the music sets the tone for the day. It also helps you to compartmentalize your memories, which I don't think is a very common thing to mention in the wedding industry, is that you're not gonna remember this day if everything goes perfect. You're not gonna remember this day if everything will be hazy on your wedding day unless there are like wires to bring you out of it. If there's like falling down the aisle, or like somebody forgetting something, or somebody tripping, or like something spilling. Like Blake Lively talks about how her dress caught on fire, and that little burn mark on her dress is her favorite part of the day. And I'm like, I recognize that, because I'm like, yes, if everything just goes perfect, it's like, it's just gonna fade into your memory. Like that was another lived day. I spent a year, maybe 2 years planning for that day to happen. All of a sudden it happens, and then it's gone, it's over. But if something goes wrong, or if you have like specific music, it'll be like, oh, this is a song that reminds me of our cocktail hour. This is a song that reminds me of, like, this is the last song we danced to at our wedding. Like those kind of things I don't think people talk about enough. So for music, like we did classic music like Frank Sinatra and what's the song? What a Wonderful World by like Sam Cooke. That kind of music was our cocktail hour music. So like whenever I listen to that song, I'm like, oh, that was the time when I just got to like spend time just with my husband. You obviously have like your first dance, but then you have, like, I played show tunes and like Mamma Mia music while I was getting ready. So when I hear that now, I'm like, oh, like I remember getting ready with all my girls. Just like think about that, what kind of emotions you want to have for certain parts of your day, and then make playlists for that, and then listen to that playlist whenever you want to like remember your wedding day, or maybe every year on your wedding day, on your anniversary, listen to those playlists at the same times of the day, and just help help your brain remember those things. Something else I think that people don't really mention, I mean, our DJ told us this, but something that I think people forget about is when you're making your playlist, make a no play list. Like a list to tell your DJ or your band or whatever to be like, don't play these songs. On that list, anything that reminds you of an ex, anything that's a breakup song or that makes you feel like angsty, anything that has lyrics about being lonely, or anything about like being like hoeing around, like any sort of music like that, don't play that at your wedding. Like, don't get that in people's emotions. You want songs about love and songs that make you feel loved and that remind you of your love and your relationship. That's what I have to say about music. Like, that's my biggest music tips is make playlists, keep those playlists, make a no playlist. That's this music. The fifth little section, which I mentioned a minute ago, is cocktail hour. Having a cocktail hour is a huge tip I can give you. If you have the finances for that, and if you have the like the guest list that would enjoy a cocktail hour, you can call it anything you want. It doesn't have to be cocktails. But I think that cocktail hour broke up our day so perfectly, because you have just like gone through an extremely high emotion experience of a ceremony, a wedding ceremony, and it goes by so fast, and you know, it's like, it's so regimented, and your brain just becomes foggy. You're like, what just happened? And then you're about to enter a reception, which is extremely socially draining and overwhelming to be the center of attention for that long. So a cocktail hour is like perfect. It is an hour that you can just like look at your new spouse and just have like a moment together. It's also a great time to eat your dinner, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But you can just, like, it's my favorite because you can just sit and relax and enjoy each other's company. And that's the only time you're really going to get to do that day until you leave the reception, and then odds are you're gonna be extremely exhausted. So if you do anything that night, you're just gonna go to bed after. Like, it's exhausting to like have a wedding. You're up all day, you're moving all day, you're doing stuff all day. Like, there's no pressure to like want to socialize or even want to talk to your new spouse at the end of the night. You're just gonna be tired. So a cocktail hour is really nice because you can just sit down and be like, whoa, that just happened. Like, how do you feel? How do I feel? Are we hungry? Are we thirsty? What's going on? Like, check in with each other. So I highly suggest having a cocktail hour, or just something where it's like moving from, either it's moving from the ceremony to the reception, or it's leaving your guests for a while and just like going off on yourself. Like by yourselves, just have some time together. It like really breaks up the day. It feels really good. My favorite, like one of my favorite memories from that day was when I sat down on the couch in the bridal suite of our reception venue, and I looked at Andrew and I was like, whoa, he's my husband. Like, that just happened. Is this real life? And then I was like, it is real life. I get to love him for the rest of my life. He's really mine. That was like one of my favorite memories from the day. It was because I had time and space to look at him and like have a moment with just him. It also was the only time that I got to go to the bathroom the whole day. So that was also really nice. And we got to like talk about like what happened that morning, and just like talk over and just sort of fill each other in on the days and how that happened and like what it felt like, and just advice and stuff that people had told us. It was just really special. So just give yourself a break in between your ceremony or reception to just spend time one-on-one with your new husband or wife. The sixth and final thing, which I kind of just mentioned, make sure that you eat before everyone else. Like, have a meal and then have your second helping with everyone else if you're gonna have time to eat during your reception, because you won't really have time to eat. This kind of like goes along cocktail hour, because if you have a cocktail hour, then you have an hour to like eat some food and get some food in you, but you will not have time to eat during it, because immediately when you sit down, people are like coming up to you, congratulating you. Everyone wants to, like, it feels kind of like everyone's vying for your attention, and you're like, I need a little moment, I need to eat, and you don't feel like you can say that to people during your reception. Don't feel bad if you have to say that. If you have to be like, I have to go to the bathroom, or you're like, I need some water, hopefully your guests will respect that and like let you go and do that. But along with the water, like have somebody assigned to bring you water. Like have them set a timer on your phone, and every hour or every 30 minutes find you and bring you a glass of water for you to just like even sip on, but chug, because you get so dehydrated with all that talking and all that moving around. I was sick on our wedding day. I think I had the flu or something because I threw up like the next couple of days. I was so sick, and my like throat was burning by the end of the night because I had talked so much and I hadn't had any water whatsoever. And I was like, I need water and I need food, and my nose was stuffy and I was coughing. It was really gross. But that was me at our wedding, and I wish I would have assigned somebody to just like find me and bring me water. My wedding planner was amazing, and she came up to me a lot and was like, do you want me to get you something to drink? And I was like, yes, but then as soon as she'd give it to me, it'd be like somebody would take it away so that we could have pictures. But it's important that you eat, and it's important that you take care of yourself, and it's important that you get some water. So just like remember that going into the day. Assign people to help you with that if that's what you need to do. But just like going into the day, just make sure that you're hydrated, make sure that you're eating all throughout the day. Make sure you have breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything. And just like enjoy, because this is your wedding day. And that's, I think, the best piece of advice I can give you is just let it be. Enjoy the day, see where the wind blows, you know, just like sit back, relax, and be like, I've planned as much as I can plan for this outing, for this day, and just let it happen as it happens. Write down anything that you don't want to forget, because odds are you will. Like it's a big experience, and it's super overwhelming to your brain. So if there's something you want to remember and that you don't think you'll remember, write it down, because that's a little added piece of advice. But I really hope that you enjoyed this 6 wedding tip video. I know that it's not necessarily a vlogmas video, but I really hope that you enjoyed it, that it was somewhat helpful to you. I feel like going into 2021, there's not only going to be a lot of weddings that were pushed off from 2020, but a lot of new engagements and a lot of new weddings, like just because every year people get married. So going into that, if that is you, if you are one of those brides, feel free to comment any questions that you have on anything. I will give more advice if I just lived it, and I have a lot of people in my life that have been asking me questions about getting married or about weddings. So I'm willing to answer any questions. You can leave that in the comments. I'll be back to more vlogmas style videos tomorrow. Sorry, this one was kind of random, but it was something that's been on my heart a lot lately. I'm just like, people need advice in this area. I need to know that they have somebody outside their family to go to. I understand that there are some brides out there, and maybe it's you watching this, or maybe it's your friend that you're gonna send this video to, that there are some people that have questions or have concerns about their wedding day or about their wedding night or about their marriage, and they don't have anyone to talk to. They're either embarrassed to talk to their parents about it, they don't want to talk, like they don't have siblings that are married, they don't have siblings that are close to that, all their friends like aren't ready for that sort of commitment, so they would just tell you don't get married. Like there are so many different situations, and I just want to offer myself up as a confidant for that. So whether it's like Instagram DMs or comments down below, I am here. If you have any advice, need any help, just let me know. I hope that this advice was helpful to you, or that I may have brought up something that you hadn't thought about. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Helps with YouTube, and it would make my heart extremely happy if you would subscribe to my channel so that we could be friends. Feel free to comment anything, any questions, DM me on Instagram. I'll always have my socials in the description box. And yeah, congratulations on your engagement. I'm so happy for you. I know that it is a challenging time. It is stressful, but you will get through it, and marriage is unbelievably amazing. I love my husband so much, and so much more every single day. I'm learning to love new things about him, or I'm learning new things about him, and it's a beautiful experience to be one with somebody. So congratulations, have a very Merry Vlogmas, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.